All right, we'll give it one more minute, and then we'll start. Niels, do you mind taking some notes? I don't know that there's going to be much to note, but do you mind doing that?
Yes, absolutely. Let me
Awesome,
open the note taking.
I would ask people, but we're now up to 3 people in the room. So. All right, let's get started. This is the IETF WISH Working Group. Thank you for coming. Niels, I'm Sean Turner, one of the co-chairs. Niels?
I'm Niels, the other co-chair, the lazy one.
We're remote. We're doing good. This is the Note Well. This is, it's late Tuesday evening, so hopefully you've seen these before. All the rules and things that you need to follow, BCPs for various things related to IPR, etc. Code of conduct and copyright. If you have any questions, you can ask us or your friendly AD or the Abuds team. This next one is about keeping it professional. Try to treat everybody professionally. You can, not like the idea, but you still kind of got to like the person a little bit because we don't want you yelling at everybody. Meeting tips. If you're on site, make sure you scan the, I don't know if the QR code's out here. You could use the agenda thing to log in because that's how we make sure that we get a right size room. I think we would fit in any room that they would offer. So I don't know that we really care, but it's nice to have a list. And it's nice to have a list of people that attended. Also, we're going to use this to moderate the queue. So if you want to get up and say anything, it's best that you get on the page so you click it with your finger. All right, agenda is pretty clear. We're going to do some administrivia, which is this. My friendly co-chair has agreed to scribe, so we're good. And basically, we're just going to go through the 2 drafts and 1 proposal for one of the drafts, and then we're going to be done. So we got WIP, which will just be kind of a status update. And then we got a lot more time on WEP, but I looked at the slides and I don't know we'll need 40 minutes. And then we got a reconnect event proposal from Dapeng Liu. And it's a PR that's up there. So hopefully people have read it and had a chance. Any suggestions to bash the agenda? I'm not hearing any, so let me go start to do the WIP. All right, Sergio, you're up. Just tell me next. I'll drive the slides.
Hi, hello. Yeah, so next, please.
All right, next.
Yo.
Come on. Go to the
Yeah,
next
wait.
page. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so, yeah.
There we go, sorry.
So first, well, I will first like to apologize for the last meeting because I messed with the time zone and I thought, I'm not sure how I thought it was in my afternoon, so I was completely asleep when you tried to reach me out. So sorry for that. Yeah, so
It's all
anyway,
right.
so,
it happens. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, it happened to me. I mean, okay, so the changes from the latest WIP and latest draft that we have sent, that it is the 15 compared to the 14, was mainly to the address the ISG and IANA feedback. I think that we have added changes for all the discuss that has been raised in the review. I think that the only one that it is still pending to be confirmed is the HTTPD review, because it was one of the that has more things to change. So we have added quite a lot of changes there. So So Francisca, thank you for joining, and it would be great if you can confirm if we have addressed the discuss, or we still need some work to do in order to fully address them. The main changes that we have made between the 15 and the 14 draft has been to align the WIP protocol to the best practice for building protocols over HTTP, and a part of clearing out some usage about HTTP code response usage. We have added the problem statement body to be able to conceal more explanation of the errors that has been raised by the WIP endpoint or with the WIP resource when receiving the request, so we can put more information there and not rely on fully on the status code. And
I think
well,
the RC that's associated with BC56 might be missing a number.
yeah. Probably a copy paste, a bad copy paste. Yeah, probably a zero missing or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, so next slide, please.
Yeah, it's 9205.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, next slide.
Yep.
Okay, sorry.
So this would be fast. So I think that we need to first, the next step is to confirm if all these codes are clear and address if there are still anything that we need to be addressed. I hope that not, but I mean, I think that probably uh, I mean, as Francesca has already some minor needs, but I hope to be able to address them when I get back from PTO, so we can have it new draft probably early September. Now we can continue the EAC. I don't know exactly what is the process for.
So what
Why
we'll
I
try to
don't.
do is I got Paul to clear his discuss because he wanted us to
Mhm.
discuss the IANA things, and so he was happy with the answer. Francesca says that she's going to either get Daryl to do his review by the end of the week, or she'll do it,
Mhm.
which is great.
Mhm.
And so then if we make any changes, that'll be great. Zaid said he'd do his review by tomorrow.
Mhm.
And I think because yours was the stuff about congestion control that got added, and I think
Yep.
he already kind of approved the text. So
Mhm.
technically, we could be like all green by Monday would be really great. And then if there are some like minor little changes that like editorial things that need to get fixed, I would like to propose that we can do them later in the process. You can do them in all 48 if they're not that big of a deal. We can, and the AD can make the decision on that. And so what we can do is you can hit our approval, and then if we had some like minor changes, he can just add those in there, and we can deal with them. Francesca.
Just wanted to mention, I'm not the responsibility for this, even
Right.
though I'm now the AD for the working group. But I think I said it's a small nit, but I think it still needs a new version.
Okay.
This could because it's like a BCP could, but there is no BCP 14 could defined.
Oh, it's capitalized. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so better to fix it. Like it doesn't take much effort to just post a new version for that. So that would be my recommendation.
All right. So we can do that. Depends on how fast you want it done. But yeah, we can do that either through the announcement or you can spin a new version. But I think that there were substantial changes as a result of the HTTP DIR review, and so I don't think those are going to be quite as easy. I think it will take more time, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. So
yeah. Anyway, also
after everything is green, then I basically tell Murray like, hey, push this document, and out it goes. So then it goes to the RFC editor's queue, and we wait for it to pop out. So it's like a month after it goes in the RFC editor's queue before you start going through all the, like they do the copy editing checks and the references and all that kind of stuff.
Just one thing, I will be, well, in fact, I am already on PTO, even if, and I will not be back until the 19th of August, so I will not be able to make any change to the document. I mean, if there are small needs, it would be great if you could do it and I can approve it, but I would not be able to submit
It's
a new
totally
draft.
fine that we waited. It's totally fine that we wait as well. I'll just tell Murray to put it on the back burners. Okay. All right. So I've moved on to the web slides.
Yeah. So next slide, please. Yes. So as I couldn't present the draft in last meeting, I mean there has been two versions since we have spoken, and the main one was the changes from the one version to the zero version that included all the backporting all the changes that we made for the with 14 changes to address to that we agreed on the working group last call. This version does not include the changes that we have done from the 14 to the 15 version in WIP that we will have to backport to web, because I mean they are very similar. So I assume that we will receive the same feedback if we post it that way. So this is something that we still need to do. And the Web 02 to Web 01, it has been only resubmit the draft in order to have the spirit and time clear, and we can, so it is not expired. So this is regarding the changes from the latest web version. So next slide, please. So this is one proposal that I have for a new event that we have been having some requests in Millicast for this kind of functionality, that it is adding SCTI certified events, that it is the metadata that it is used in normal in MPEG and HLS players to signal client-side ad insertion. So the good thing about the SCTI certified messages is that they have already defined, or they have there is already defined a basis 64 serialization for it, and it is what it is, for example, included in the HLS manifest. So the proposal would be quite simple. It is just to add a new SCTI certified event in the to be supported in for supporting this server ad insertion that will be signaling as any other web event, and the body of the event will be just the basis for a SCTI certified message that it's good and nice that we can add it into, just it fits perfectly in how we are using the server side events. I don't think that there is not much we need to add to the to web, because everything is specified in the SCTI certified specification, and the web client does not need anything to handle that specifically. Just pass this information to the ad layer in that, as it will do in the HLS or DAS. So if everyone is or if there is no objection, I will add it to the next version of the web spec.
Going once. Anybody in the queue?
From my perspective, I think I would be interested in. I think the Peng is also suggesting like an extension. What I would be interested to hear if anyone has thoughts on adding these features into the main web spec, or if the working group should try to ship them as extensions separate. I don't know if anyone has thoughts on that.
I mean, this could perfectly go into an extension. So, but it would be really just. I don't think that it will be more than a paragraph. So I think that
Right.
I mean,
No, I think
it could. Yeah.
From my perspective, it's mostly procedural. Whether we like, I mean, if everybody agrees on this, then it's probably easy to add it to the main spec as well.
Mm.
If we get like extensions which cause then lots of discussion and basically hold back the main spec, maybe that should be the guiding criteria here.
Yeah, in fact, I have something like that in the next steps.
Okay.
The feature that we have discussed.
And this is the next one. So I'm moving on. All right.
Yeah. So the next topic I would like to discuss in this meeting is that I have seen a lot of interest for a hybrid WebRTC and MPEG-DAS, specifically playback. So like being able to combine both WebRTC and MPEG DAGs in the same player. The main reason for this is that typically you will be able to get real-time playback through web, so you can have a real-time feed going into a player, but you can switch to the MPEG DAS version, so you can, for example, start watching an event from the beginning, or do the I'll rewind and watch. For example, if watching that you are watching a football game, you can rewind, you can go back and see a goal, and they go back to life. Also, we have seen some users of Milligas that would like to have like different experience for premium users when they offer real time and only and while having most of the people in the MPEG as stream. So this will allow them to combine both experience into the same player. Regarding integration of WebRTC into MPEG DAS, there has been already some work done specific in the DASIF working group. That was they published this report about it. I think that it was 2 years ago, something like that. But there was not a clear proposal or a specification. That it was just a prospection and putting a possible solution. So, but it has never become a spec or anything like that. And also, there was no web specification available at that time. So there are several companies, not only Milligas, that have been working on it, and it seems to be like a consensus that probably the easiest is to put the web playback URL into to the MPEG DAS manifest, so you can just get the when you just get the manifest as normal, and then you can have the web URL then, and then use either the start downloading the MPEG DAS assessment or start plugging the WebRTC via web. So I'm not sure exactly how this works in IETF, but in other standardization forums, with what I have typically done in these cases is try to write a license statement to the DASIF group to see if we can have any way of collaborating together to have like a common discussions and probably as MPEG DAS is, I'm not sure if we could do the spec or they will have to do it or however or how it can be done.
So typically,
So I think that
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and for example, in the DASIF group, there was a lack of experience of WebRTC knowledge, so they were wondering how things work. So I was there, but not fully working on that group. So I provide some guidance, and I think that we at least I don't have enough knowledge of PECDAS to do it in this group. So I think that it would be good if we could have some kind of joint collaboration in order to try to find what could be the best way, the best technical way of implementing it.
Okay, so we can definitely figure out how to get some liaison statements over. I've done that in the past. It's basically we just got to get our area director or the ISG to send it over there. There's not an existing liaison relationship, but maybe we don't need one.
Mm-hmm.
So we can definitely, I can definitely cue Marie up on that.
Mm-hmm.
It got. Sorry, could you get to the microphone? Yeah. Wait.
I think as of today, -IF has merged with SVTA.
Correct.
Or SVTA absorbed -IS. I think that's a fairer characterization.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think we can find the people, I think, and figure out who to point to. That would probably be a good way to do that. But yeah, we can figure that out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, when we have like the procedure and we agree that something that we can do, I can also think internally, because we are participating in those forums to see if we can find the right people to send these to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for going to the microphone, Jonathan. Caught yourself.
Jonathan, I mean, having my knowledge of this being what I just Googled on my phone in the last 3 minutes, I'm not sure. I mean, the standard actually comes out of MPEG, right? And then IF is the, like, profiles it in the industry forum. So I don't know which one, I mean, Stefan will be the one to explain this, I think.
So the dash standard comes out of MPEG. The way how dash IF and dash work together is, okay, this is my characterization here, yeah, so nothing official. And I'm not a member over in dash IF anymore and so on. But what dash IF does is, to some extent, they do the requirements, the real world requirements work, because MPEG's requirements process is not really set up to do anything particularly useful in this field. So the people who really know what's needed in the universe are in dash IF. And then they do things like interop and application things. There is a little bit of the profiling aspect too. These are not the official profiles, but yes, there is a bit of profiling aspects as well. The dash standard itself is a toolbox, right? So you have to pick and choose.
Yeah, so my question is, if we wanted to have a, add to that, this is how you put a web URL in, would that need to go to MPEG for the toolbox and then go to dash IF, or could that something that dash IF could put in on its own?
So I don't claim to be the real deep expert here, but if I understand this, dash itself can, I mean the dash spec as it exists can already do what you need. Isn't that true? It's just that it's not deployed. Would that be fair, Sergio?
No, I don't think that it is possible to do it right now, or I don't know how to do it. Maybe there are already some ways of putting this information, but I know that I'm expert in MPEG, so I just know the very basics, so I'm not sure exactly if there could be something easy to in order to add this to what does manifest. But as far as I know, there is no way of implementing it today.
Yeah, in that case, dash itself will have to get active, but the best way to trigger them to do activity is usually to go to dash IF and convince the people there. Just showing up in MPEG with a proposal will probably not work that easily.
Well,
that's
but
anyway.
After you mentioned SVTA, and I Googled, I now have the chair's name. So of the
we all know. I mean, anyone who is active in this field should have multiple contacts there.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. That's exactly what I was hoping to hear. Yeah. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I would probably, I would for sure be able to have contact in this group, but I will have to ping internally to see what is the right person in the group. But I would like first to have agreement from this group, and that it is something that we want to agree and pursue.
Agreed, right. I mean, the idea is you don't want to start trying to go down this path if a bunch of people are like, no, this is not the way to do it. So I guess my hope is that we can, if you could start a discussion on the mailing list to try to see if we can get some people behind it. And if it turns out that that's the way, then we can launch forward and figure out a way. Yeah.
From just my my personal opinion is that this is a highly desired feature by lots of people. So I'm pretty sure if we point the right people at this proposal, they will be like, oh yeah, yes, please. But I'm a little bit more concerned about whether to find the right experts which know both groups basically and can get the work going and finish. So I think that goes back to what you were saying earlier, Sergio, like probably in a separate extension spec, because I don't know how long this will take.
No, I mean, probably this will be just going to the MPEG. We will not have to do anything here because it will be easy. I mean, is the other way around. I think
True.
that they will have to add it to the MPEG-DAS specification, but probably it's a new element in the XML file or whatever. Or so.
True. Yeah. Only if it would need work from our end, then that
Yep.
should be done probably in an extension. Okay. Yep. Fair enough.
All right, cool. I will go to the last slide.
Yes. So please. Yeah. Yes. So the next step is if we agree to this, the next step will be to the SCATI 35 and the recognitive that there is a presentation afterwards to discuss about this proposal. Add missing the details from the JSON formats for the active, inactive, and live events that there's some basics I'm not really saying. And I think that given, well, I think probably, I think there is one. Isn't there a slide before this?
No, this is the last slide. Oh, I mean, the
Okay.
slides for the reconnect events. Yes, that's next.
No. I mean, this is the last slide for yeah. Okay. So I probably have deleted one. I mean, fuck, well, yeah. Okay. So I think that there were other topics that we have discussed that it would be nice to add in the to the web specification, but we have not got much feedback or interest in that. Like I talking from memory, but it was like multiple languages support, metadata, and things like that. So there has been little word or feedback regarding those items. So I would propose, as Neil was saying, that we remove them from the target list that we wanted to address. And if there is enough interest, we can add them back as extension to the document and try to get these things finished and try to go to working group last call before the next IETF meeting, so we can get feedback on the draft, because I have seen that if we don't go to working group last call, people probably will be raising any comments or something like that. So I think that the sooner we close the pending topics and we go to the working group last call, we will be able to have people providing the feedback needed to add to progress it to the next phase. And as we have already got reviews from Ayana and the other groups from regarding the WIP, I think that the review will be much easier than WIP. We will have this specification out soon.
I think this seems like a great plan. Jonathan?
What's the implementation status? Have you implemented it yet?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it has been implemented by, yeah, specifically the SCATI certified or the whole web specification.
And both ends, and it all works.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. All right, I think this sounds like a great plan. Again, yeah, so if we can get the next versions of the drafts out, September-ish, October-ish, well, that'll give us time to get comments going. And if you want, when the next version comes out, I can even ask for early reviews. So for example, if you want me to hit like an early review for the HTTP dir thing, we can get that before we actually start an IETF last call. We can get it now. And maybe that's prudent because we got so many comments last time. I think you will. Yep. I personally think you will fix them all, and it'll actually go through a lot quicker. But you never know.
Yeah, let's wait. I think that let's wait until we finish the work on WIP, because probably the feedback will be the same for both documents, because most of the HTTP layer is copy paste between one and the other. Yep. Maybe the only one that it is different is the server-side events that we have added to web. But I think that it is best if we finish address all the feedback in WIP, and then we backport all the changes needed into web, so we know that we are not going to have to do or receive the same feedback twice.
Yep. Okay, great. All right, cool. I'm looking forward to it. All right, so let's go next to the recovery event presentation. All right, Tapeng, you're up. Just tell me when you want me to go to the next slide.
Okay, thank you very much. So this is a very simple proposal for the server-side event, which is we call it reconnect event. I have submitted a pull request in the GitHub and have a very brief discussion with Sergio several months ago, and want to hear more feedback and to see if we can have consensus in this working group. Thank you, Shane. So for the use cases, there are a couple of use cases. For example, if the quality of the service of the VIP resource declines, which affects the quality of experience for the end users, that is one typical use cases for this proposal. And secondly, for example, the connection between the VIP player and the VIP resource is degraded, which also affects the quality of the experience for the end users. So for this kind of scenarios happens, this reconnect event could be useful to recover the VIP session. So the proposal is very simple, just to add a reconnect event in current draft in section 4.6.1, server-side event extension. And this event is sent by the VIP resources when the following situation occurs as introduced earlier. Next slide, please.
Come on.
Okay, thank you. So this slide shows how this event works. So upon receipt of the reconnect event, the VIP player restart a VIP protocol process as currently defined by the VIP draft. So basically, that means that the extension basically have two parts in the current draft. One is some description about this new type of server-side event we call reconnect, as highlighted here in this figure. And secondly, a detailed the definition of this event. The event name is reconnect, and the data in the current version, we put the VIP endpoint URL in the data. So next slide, please. So this is a summary of the proposal, and you can check the link of the GitHub pull request to see the detail. Next slide, please.
Next.
Yes, next, please. Okay. So there is one small problem I think is valuable for the discussion in this working group is whether we put a new web endpoint URL in this data, or we just use our original URL as Sergio suggested. So I do a very simple analysis for these two options. If we use for the original URL, the advantage is it is very simple for implementation, and the disadvantage is that it cannot provide flexibility. If we use configurable URL, the advantage is that we can have more flexible. For example, if the control plan have a new VIP endpoint to recover the VIP session, it can put the new web endpoint URL here. But of course, it will have more implementation cost. So I'd like to hear feedback in this working group. Which option is more reasonable? Okay, thank you. That's the end of this slide. Thank you.
Okay. Great. Sergio?
Yeah. So first,
Yep. Go ahead, Sergio.
yeah. So first, can you hear me? Yeah, now you can hear me now. So first of all, I think that this event is very helpful. In fact, I have already well, I had something similar implemented in our custom protocol. And for example, we use it to when one server is overloaded and we want to migrate one viewers uh, from one server to another. We use this event in a similar way. And also, for example, if we want to shut down a server, we send the event so the client can reconnect instantly and seamlessly to another server in case of we were shutting down the server we need to recycle, or we want to just defragmentize the number of viewers that are connected to a server. The only thing that I'm not sure is if if adding the endpoint URL to the to to the event is a good idea or not. I see the value of using it for being able to redirect it to somewhere else, but we have to be careful that the events are optional. So there may be there may be clients that don't implement this event, so the server will have to be ready and to receive the client reconnected into the same into the original URL. And if you have to do it anyway, what is the benefit of adding a different URL that may or not be used? So that's my only concern about this URL in the data of the event. And that's it.
Depeng, did you want to respond to that, or should I go ahead with my comment?
I think what Sergio said is it makes sense. And I just want to clarify that even if we use a configurable URL, we can compatible with the original URL. For example, we can put the original URL in the data. Then the endpoint, then the VIP, the client can use original URL. Probably that is one solution.
Yeah, but my point was not about what is the behavior on the server, but that it will happen that even if you put out URL in the well, no, because there would not be event. I mean, that there will be clients that we will not be able to send the event to, because and if you disconnect them, they will connect again to the same server. I mean, just that. I mean, I'm not saying that it is uh, something bad, but it's something that we have to acknowledge that it will happen. Jonathan?
Yeah, Jonathan Lennox, two questions. First of all, this is a complete restart. Like if you were implementing this in a browser, this would be a new peer connection, right? It's not a nice restart or anything like that. It's a full, clean peer connection from scratch. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that does have like some disadvantages, like you have to do your bandwidth estimation ramp up again and whatnot, but it's probably the right thing if you're moving anyway. The other question I had is, this is a server initiated move. Is there something a client initiated move is just reconnect because you felt like it? You don't have to do any signaling at all for that?
For this proposal, yes, it's server initiated.
Yeah.
But for client initiated, I don't think we currently have a proposal. But that is interesting.
I mean, my first thought would be you don't need to. I mean, you don't need to specify anything. It's just the client connects again because it wants to. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess the only question, I mean, sort of the more elaborate question I have is, do we expect that clients are a full HTTP stack and thus doing things like if the server sets a cookie on the first connection, it'll be presented on the second one and things like that. But maybe that's interesting because, you know, if the server wants to know, hey, this is the same guy, that sounds like what cookies are for if it's a full HTTP stack. But I don't know if we're expecting they are always.
Lorenzo is saying on the chat that probably configuration sounds like a better option. And also regarding the fact that that there may be some clients that are not able to reconnect, that you can use always the 300 redirect in the new URL to reestablish the same URL as before. So yeah, I mean, I don't have any concerns about adding this in the event. Just if the rest of the people are okay with that, I mean, also okay. I mean, I don't have huge concerns. Just didn't have the idea of, I was not clear if it was a good or bad idea. But if many people see the value, I'm fine with that.
All right, so we're landing on configurable.
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
Again,
thank you very much.
yeah, that's, and that, I think, brings us to the end of our session. Thank you very much for participating. We're going to try to push to get this the WIP document done. If there's only super minor things, I might be able to convince Murray to fix it so we don't need to spin a new version. But if we do need a new version, we'll have to wait till Sergio gets back from his needed vacation middle of next month. So you know, the list might be quiet till then, so we'll see. I'll keep everyone updated as we try to move through, because as again I said, there's 2 discusses on dash whip, and one of them I hope will be clearing by the end of the week, and the other one might take a little bit longer, but I think we're going to be good. And then the plan again is to try to get WEP, WHEP to the state, so we can have a working group last call in September, October, so that we can discuss any outstanding items in November at the next IETF meeting in Dublin. So without further ado, I'll give you back, 20 minutes of your life. Have a great day.
Mhm.
Thank you very much. Thanks for taking notes, Neil. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you.
Da, da, da.